This episode contains explicit content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Leave all political comments off the studio.
Okay, I gotta.
Welcome.
Wait, I gotta turn my heating pad on.
Welcome.
Alright, just sit.
Welcome back to Topher Talks. I am your host, Topher Phillips, here today with my lovely grandma. Introduce yourself for us.
Hello, I'm Topher's grandmother.
Betty's Bling Biz on Facebook.
Betty Billups from Betty's Bling Biz. That's right.
All right. So, Grandma, I've brought you today to explain to you the on-set beef that is going on between the two big-name artists, Kendrick Lamar and Drake. There's a lot to dig into.
Okay.
Let's begin. Do you know who Kendrick Lamar and Drake, to start off with things, are?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay, well, I'm going to pull up a picture of Kendrick first, just so you know who he is. Kendrick Lamar has been in the rap game for a while now. I don't know how long. This podcast isn't supposed to be factual. So Kendrick Lamar, this is Kendrick Lamar, right? He got famous with people like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. He was on like that side of the rap game. Like early 2000s type rap, big in 2011, 2012. Drake is a more recent artist. And more recent meaning like 2015, 2000, like he's a big name right now, right? So this is Drake, if you can see who that is. All right. So now we got our two characters established. So they're both rappers and they both make music, correct? Well, this all started back in 2023. In 2023, Drake dropped an album alongside J. Cole, who's another rap artist, called For All the Dogs, right? This is J. Cole. This is J. Cole. Oh, this one.
Yeah. You the one that played Bob Marley in the movie?
No, definitely not. So he's still a rapper, right? So, For All the Dogs was produced by OVO, right? So the Drake team at the very beginning of it was J. Cole and Drake in OVO sound, right? Kendrick had Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar. Future doesn't matter that much, but I am going to pull up a picture of Metro Boomin so you can get all of our characters in order. Metro doesn't matter face-wise, and I'll explain that in a second. So, in 2023, when Drake dropped the album For All the Dogs, one of the songs on the album was called First Person Shooter Mode. In that song, First Person Shooter Mode, J. Cole had a verse, and basically in his verse, he said, there are three big artists right now, me, Kendrick Lamar, and Drake. We're like the three big artists out there. We're really good, right? And then, for some reason, then in 2024, on Metro's and Future's album, Kendrick had a verse on a song called Like That. And I'll play a snippet of the song for you so you can hear what the song sounds like and what the verse is famous for. So remember that it's in the original verse, J. Cole's verse, they talked about the big three. So I'll see if you can hear this. So that's Kendrick Lamar, right? So let me see if I can find the exact verse. Okay, right? So that's the verse that Kendrick put on the song Like That, right? So he goes on to say that he's just like that. He compares himself to Prince, saying Prince outlived Michael Jackson, saying Prince's career, though he wasn't as popular as Michael Jackson in the beginning, it far outlived Michael Jackson's career, saying that he's Prince and Drake's Michael Jackson, right? Now, J. Cole didn't appreciate this at all. He was just like, hey, I was just trying to be nice, right? So J. Cole dropped his response album of the album might delete later, right? He had this in his back pocket, just waiting for something like this to happen. What's the song? On 7 Minute Drill, which is now actually not available anymore. He took the song down. On 7 Minute Drill is J. Cole's response to Kendrick Lamar, saying just being like, hey, we're ready to go if you're ready to go, and just dropping a couple of things, right? After that, fans speculate that Kendrick showed him a piece of blackmail that he had on J. Cole that would scare J. Cole. So J. Cole backed out almost immediately. He apologized after one song. He just said, hey, Kendrick, I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by the diss. All right. After that, Drake dropped Push Ups. And this was on April 19th, right? The song Push Ups, if I'm right, the song Push Ups is just a straight diss of Drake to Kendrick. So what he's basically saying is he helped Drake, he helped Kendrick get his first number one, right? Which J. Cole already said in his previous song, saying like, hey, you wouldn't be at the top of the charts without us. You might have a career, but you wouldn't be at the top of the charts without us, right? And he called Kendrick short, just pretty much petty insults at that point, right? Now Drake dropped another diss track pretty much almost right after that, which is known as the Tailor-Made Freestyle, right? Which I'll play a piece right here, real quick. So Kendrick, right? So Kendrick dropped where are we? So Kendrick Drake told Kendrick that he needs to do some push-ups, right? He needs to get bigger. He called him small, just pretty much petty insults, right? But he called out the Future, Weeknd, Rick Ross, NBA player Ja Morant, and Metro Boomin, and even J. Cole on the song, right? So Tailor-Made Freestyle. So following up Push-Ups, Drake briefly released Tailor-Made Freestyle, sharing the song that is in now a deleted Instagram post on April 9th with the caption, "While we wait on you, I guess." Which is basically like, okay, we're at war now. I'm going to put this as a preemptive strike. Get ready to fire back, right? Which was not a release response diss track because Taylor Swift just put out her latest album, The Torture Poet Society, right? And then they said, now we have to wait a effing week because Taylor Swift is your new top. If you bought a drop, she got it approved. Which means that like now that Taylor Swift's dropped, you have to talk to her saying that Kendrick doesn't have the freedom that he has, right? But the track was very short-lived because Drake was served a cease and desist letter by Two Shop Shakur Estate because he used AI-generated vocals of the rap legend who allegedly died in 1996. Drake was then forced to remove Taylor's Made Freestyle from all public platforms. The estate says that they would not approve use of Shakur's voice on the track, and they didn't approve in general at all. Right? They also approved Snoop Dogg, who was joked about it on Instagram. Snoop Dogg seemed really fine with that. Now Kendrick was angry. He saw that Drake was dissing everybody, saying that Kendrick can't do anything, right? So he dropped Euphoria, right? This is where things got really heavy. Drake, it seemed to be all a joke in the beginning, right? So this was the next response, which was Euphoria, right? Kendrick's response to Tailor-Made Freestyle and Push-Ups, right? And in this song, he has a really famous line, and it's just, I'm struggling to find the exact verse because I want you to hear the verse so you figure out what exactly he sold, because he pretty much he referenced the fact that J. Cole probably won out of both of them because he backed out, and he said that he gave Drake the ability to back out, but Drake didn't. So in this song, so basically Kendrick's just saying I hate you, right? And he says that he doesn't like the women that he's around. He doesn't like the way that he raps. He said he just thinks he would be better at just singing melodies instead of rapping. He said he doesn't think he's a good rapper. He also said he didn't want to hear Drake say the N-word no more because he doesn't believe Drake is a real one. So that's Euphoria, which was Kendrick Lamar's response to Drake's push-ups, right? Now, Kendrick Lamar was so angry, he didn't wait for Drake to respond. He dropped 616 in LA. And 616 in LA, the reason it's named that is because it was 616 in LA when Kendrick dropped the song because he was just that angry. He woke up at 3 in the morning and just had to write a diss on Drake, right? "16 in LA" was the second song that he released after Euphoria, which made like possible meanings to a cryptic title. The Instagram reel was put on his page on Friday, right? And the feature art is a single black glove, which is a nod to O.J. Simpson trial, which began in June 16th, 1995. Tupac's birthday is also on June 16th. And it is a Father's Day this year. It's also a Bible verse, Corinthians 6:16, which could be read as a dig at Drake's alleged taste in women, right? "Do you know who he unites himself with? The prostitute is one for her body." Which said, for this it was said that two who will become one flesh. Basically saying that Drake just sleeps around to sleep around and doesn't have care for women. And this was all just the title. This is before he even said a word, right? So one of the most surprising aspects of the song was the inclusion of Jack Antoff's name at the producer credits. The Bleachers frontman is known for working closely with Taylor Swift, right? And hasn't had previously public involvement in this rap feud, right? And Lamar digs further into Drake to suggest that the Toronto rapper may have moles on his team feeding him information, saying stuff like, saying stuff like, saying things along the lines of nobody likes you on your team. They don't want to hear you. They don't even like you. That's why they're writing it out. I don't care about you enough to actually do the research. I'm just getting this from your people on the inside. And then he puts in the producer credits saying, if you're going to go after Taylor Swift, well, I got people on that side too. This is 616 in LA. So that is all the information behind 616 in LA. Then Drake finally had a chance to respond on the same day. Hours later, at around 5 o'clock that night, he dropped "Family Matters" and the song "Family Matters." Sorry, my apologies. I'm trying to get all my stuff in chords. So Drake's response to Lamar was by questioning the true fatherhood of Lamar's child with his fiancée Whitney Alvoyd, possibly alleging that Lamar is an unfaithful and physically abusive in his current relationship in Family Matters, right? He said that he said a lot of things along the lines of Kendrick Lamar is physically and domestically abusive, right? And later in that verse, Drake specifically names Dave Free, a record executive who works as Lamar's manager, saying, "I heard one of them kids might be Dave Free." Drake also calls Lamar out for his body of work, which often addresses racism inauthentic, saying, always rapping like you about to get some slaves free, but just acting like an advocate, it's just all made-believe. Music video shows a destruction of a van using the 2012 album cover Lamar's Good Kid, MMAD City. In the Monday morning, the track was #1 trending on YouTube. So this track was very big for Drake. Oops, sorry.
Maybe in this song, you shouldn't start.
I've emptied the clip over friendlier jabs. You mentioned my seed, now deal with his dad. I gotta go bad, I gotta go bad.
This is Family Matters. So I just want to slow things down before it starts getting really crazy. What are your thoughts right now? We haven't heard much from your side. Are you following? Because I'm just spewing information right now.
Whatever. You're just rattling it all out, rambling on. I don't know.
Do you follow so far?
Yeah, it's all nonsense.
Okay, so you think it's just nonsense?
Utter
nonsense. Okay.
Sorry.
Well,
that's my opinion.
Hours later, not even an hour later, after Drake dropped Family Matters, Kendrick Lamar dropped Meet the Grams, which, right? So Meet the Grams, right? Less than an hour after Drake released. The track was arguably the most aggressive song released in the past few months, right? Because it started with Lamar apologizing to Drake's son for having Drake as a father. Lamar then goes to claim without evidence that Drake takes Ozempic, uses photos of the medication with Drake's legal name, right? Audrey Drake Graham, right? Which is the name on the cover of the art of the song and is Drake's legal name, right? He alludes to the gossip that Drake had a Brazilian butt lift, right? And Rick Ross was able to coin the nickname BBL Drizzy, which comes later in the diss when Metro Boomin comes back up. In one of his songs, I missed a step, but in one of Drake's songs, he told Metro Boomin to shut his hoe ass up and make some drums, saying that's the only thing he's good at, right? Well, right? So, and he even said that Drake hides his son from public eye. Well, in the second verse, Kendrick makes several implicates that Drake by comparing him to a Hollywood sex offender, Harvey Weinstein, saying him and Weinstein should be in a cell for the rest of their life, right? Well, Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction was recently overturned in New York, which opened a new chapter in his case, right? He's mentioning things along the lines of Millie Bobby Brown, who is a famous actor for Stranger Things, who I think recently turned 18, but is very definitely underage, and his implications that Drake had a relationship that had interest in her, and Billie Eilish, who is also very young. He called him a narcissist and a misogynist, and he claims that Drake has a daughter that nobody knows about. This is all in Meet the Grams, as in after Family Matters, Meet the Grams being Drake's family. Yes?
Say that?
So he goes on and he says a lot of these things, right? And after Meet the Grams, Kendrick is fired up. That next day, he drops Not Like Us, right? Which is yet another diss and another dig at Drake, referencing his earlier songs, Euphoria, trying to say things along the lines of he's just not like us rappers. Like, he's just trying to say that it's just everybody's against Drake. Nobody likes Drake, right? So, So,
They need to get a life.
well, Kendrick doubled down on his allegations against Drake, releasing another 4.5-minute diss track, and not even a full 24 hours later on Saturday evening, right? With the cover art, it was an alleged photo of Drake's mansion in Toronto with red markers seeming to be the ones marking his homes, like the ones marking the homes that sex offenders reside. He said lines along the lines of, say Drake, I hear you like them young, right? He called Drake not as a colleague, but as a colonizer, as in he's trying to colonize the rap game. And he called him out for using Tupac's voice. He also had some wild verses about, I might just let the song play because this is probably one of the best, well put together songs, and I think I really appreciate his lyrical mastery on that Kendrick was able to bring onto this song. Sorry, I'm just making sure. And he started to diss OVO on the Kendrick went after OVO on the song, just to make sure that Drake really felt it. OVO was a producer off the original album that we discussed about. Yeah, I'm just gonna let the song play out.
Man down, call her Ember Lambs, tell him breathe, bro. Nail a nigga to the cross, he walk around like Tizo. What's up with these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton? They in the street and hate me, fuck them all and be mama. How many options you really got? I mean, it's too many options. I'm finna pass on this body, I'm John Stock. Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from them. They tell me, chick, wop, 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 wop. I'ma do my trying to strike a. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor.
So that line blew up on TikTok. The line trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor. On the piano, the chord A minor is one of the only chords that don't contain any black keys. One of the only minor chords that don't contain any black keys. And it's also a play on words of A minor, and he says struck a chord, which is to get with someone, and it's A minor, referencing yet again Drake's alleged pedophilic actions. That brings us to BBL Drizzy, right? Which brings back Rick Ross's claim of Drake getting a Brazilian butt lift and not being a strong man. Metro Boomin, who is one of the producers on Like That, put his foot in the game, and he shared a post called BBL Drizzy Beat Giveaway, which he just encouraged fans to rap over the beat and take whatever they wanted to do with the beat, right? Drake mentioned Metro Boomin by his legal name in Family Matters, calling him lame, but allegedly influencing disagreements between Drake and Future, right? He commented on the Instagram posts and Metro tweets about him writing, and so he just said that he just listened to him. Drake's saying that okay, good, you listened to me and you actually made a beat. And so I'll pull up BBL Drizzy by Metro Boomin, so you can really get the full appreciation of it. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. So, in response to all of this, the Heartbreak Sits was written by Drake, which was the most recent response to the beef, which came out on Sunday night, right? When Drake released the Heartbreak Part 6, he posted to X, formerly known as Twitter, As we know you're dropping 6 minutes after, so instead of posting my address, you have a lot to address. You have a lot to address, right? Which he denies the allegations that Lamar lobbed at him, saying he purposely fed Lamar fake information to see if he would fall for it, and tell him that he should go back to fact-checking. Drake called this beef a good exercise and laughed it off, suggesting that Lamar would be a worthy competitor if he really was a predator. Drake also goes to directly mention the Stranger Things actor Millie Bobby Brown, saying, the Whitney's not Millie Bobby Brown's. I never looked twice at no teenager. This remark, at least second time Drake has responded to online criticisms about his friendship with the actress, whom they first met when she was a young teen. Drake previously addressed the comments on his song about her in his song Another Late Night. Kendrick versus Drake Lamar beef seems to have no end in sight, for the two continue to trade disses with ever-increasing severities of allegations toward each other. So I'm going to pull up The Heartbreak 6 by Drake.
Pulitzer Prize winner is definitely spiraling. I got your fucking lines tapped, I swear that I'm dialed in.
So that covers the beef so far. No new disses has been dropped. As of the recording of this episode, no new information can be provided. Thoughts?
No, it's just a bunch.
Thoughts?
Thoughts?
Thoughts.
You don't want to know my thoughts.
I need to know your thoughts. That's the whole point of the video.
It's just a bunch of nonsense.
It's a bunch of rich people arguing.
Yeah,
See-
it's not even worth thinking about.
See, my theory for this is, my leading theory for this right now is, it started because Kendrick seemed to respond out of almost nowhere, if that makes sense. It seems to be all fabricated. It's just to sell more records, honestly, because they both dropped albums. Then J. Cole dropped an entire album, which was really suspicious, but all of a sudden J. Cole pulled out, which I think that's because Kendrick got really serious. I think Kendrick did something away from the group. Maybe this was all fabricated to begin with, and then Kendrick decided to say something, maybe has a little bit too much dirt on a specific person. But nevertheless, this is where we are now, sitting Thursday, May 9th, 8:15 p.m. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Topher Talks. It has been a great pleasure. Signing off, Topher Billups.